Welcome to the Family Holiday Destinations podcast, where we inspire your next family adventure. I'm Jessica Palmer, mother of two and founder of Family Holiday Destinations. And today we're chatting about something that's close to my heart, active family travel. From gentle walks to multi-day cycling tours to pounding the pavement at theme parks to snorkeling adventures, traveling actively is one of the best ways to really experience a destination. And, of course, get the kids off their screens for a while. Later in the episode, I'll be joined by Will from Active England Tours, who specialise in creating active, family-friendly itineraries through some of the UK's most beautiful landscapes, including the Cotswolds and the Lake District. But first, let's take a look at what's making headlines in family travel this month. First up, Pokémon fans, this one's for you. Japan has announced its very first Poke Park Kanto theme park, coming to the Greater Tokyo area in early 2026. Expect life-size Pokémon encounters, themed rides, and even a Pokémon village. It's set to become the ultimate bucket list destination for families traveling to Japan. Closer to home, the Blue Mountains in New South Wales has welcomed back a family favourite experience, Dinosaur Valley at Scenic World. Except this time it has a new addition with the all-new Dino Aquarium. Kids can wander among life-size dinosaurs, meet rangers, and even take a ride on this famous scenic railway while spotting prehistoric giants hidden in the rainforest. And for something a little more luxurious, Dubai is set to open the world's tallest hotel this November, the Ciel Dubai Marina. Towering 82 floors high, it features the highest infinity pool on the planet and panoramic views of Palm Jumeirah. It's not your average family stay, but for those chasing once-in-a-lifetime views, this one is worth keeping an eye on. Now, let's get on to today's main topic, active holidays for families. When you think of the UK, it's easy to picture rainy weather and old castles, but Will from Active England Tours wants to change that perception and has created a short little film, under 2 minutes, showing us a more appealing side of the UK. From charming village walks in the Cotswolds to cycling through the Lake District, there's a lot for families to discover beyond London. I've recently sat down with Will for a chat about their new video and how Active England Tours makes exploring the countryside accessible and fun for families, even those with young kids. Take a listen to that conversation here. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really do appreciate it. So tell me about Active England and how it all started.
So I was actually in the Loire Valley with my kids, and we saw people on bikes going chateau to chateau. And I thought, I live in Oxford and we're on the edge of the Cotswolds, and we've got Oxford, Blenheim Palace, Stratford upon Avon for everything Shakespeare, Bath, Stonehenge, and then at that time Downton Abbey, and it was all in a circle.
Yeah.
And basically, I biked it one weekend, and I thought, actually, I could run trips. So I built a website and used my kids as models, and took some photos, did some video, and that was it.
Oh, nice. So were they young at the time?
They were quite young at the time, yeah.
Okay, so family-friendly biking, that's good to hear.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
So what inspired the video, This Is Our England, and how do you want it to change people's perception of England?
I think England is known for many things, and we wanted to dispel, some of the myths that you have to go to London, that you have to go to castles and big iconic places, and that it's always raining, and that
That's a big one
it's
for us.
and that it's dark and a bit dingy. So you can see by the video that is not the case. Interestingly, if you look at the number of rain days, and I didn't believe it when I first heard this, but it's true. London has less rain days than New York in any given year. And we judge it based on the amount of days when you can't do any activity in a season. So our seasons kind of go from March through to October, and there's normally about 3 or 4 days only where you can't do anything. So the weather is a lot better than people think. There's loads to see and loads to do. You've just got to get out there, embrace it. If it does rain a little bit, don't worry about it because it'll be sunny in a minute. That's kind of the way that we look at things.
Yeah, absolutely. We work like that here in Queensland too. It's
well, yeah, I mean,
it comes in the afternoon and then it goes away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we tend to think is it very, very rarely rains all day. Traveling with kids is a great thing to do. It expands their knowledge and understanding. They always remember it, whether they actually remember it or not. They always think they remember it.
Yes.
And I tend to look at travel with kids in sort of two distinct age brackets. One, and for the Aussies, it's quite interesting maybe for the Aussies, because the way I do it is I think about, can they swim well or not?
Yes.
So those are the two brackets.
It's a safety thing, yes.
Yeah, it's a safety thing because once kids can swim, it opens up so many more interesting and fun things for them to do, whether it's surfing in Devon and Cornwall, coast steering in Devon and Cornwall, whether it's just messing around in the water or swimming in a cold lake in the Lake District. As soon as you've got your kids swimming, it opens up a lot more activities that they can do.
I feel like when they're at that age where they can swim, they're also at that age where you're not having to hold their hand every second as well.
Exactly. And they're more curious as well. So my gut feel is the best time to travel with kids is probably when they're 7 or 8 plus. That's my gut view. And we certainly see that borne out on our trips because, fit and active 7, 8-year-olds can do as much as the adults.
Yeah, they can.
They can climb mountains. They can bike. They've got an engine that goes all day. And then if they've done a whole host of activity, they're going to sleep in the evenings really, really easily. So that prior to, the ages, 7 and below, you just have to do things slightly differently. You kind of have to put at all times the kids first. You have to think about how to balance the activities you want to do with what's right for the kids. So it tends to be shorter active days. Although we do get some families who will chuck the kids in a backpack and they're off.
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes when they're really young, like babies, it's actually easier because they're in a backpack and they fall asleep, but then they get to an age where they've got their own opinions and they they get tired and cranky and they need a nap, and then it's quite hard.
Exactly. And I think whatever age they are, it's balancing the activities. So if you are in London, some of the places that I would always get people to go to, I would always go to London Zoo. Every time I go to Sydney, I always go to the zoo in Sydney because it's.
Do you? Nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So go to London Zoo, go outside Buckingham Palace. If they're a bit older, go to Harry Potter World, which is literally just outside London. Go to the Natural History Museum. There are so many places that you can do which are fun and engaging for the kids. So if I think about places to go and how to balance it on a family trip, it would be, do you want to go to London? That's the first question. The answer is probably yes.
Well, you've got to fly in anyway.
You've got to fly in. You're there anyway. It's 20 minutes. There's a great... you can either get in by taxi or Uber or whatever, or there's a great train called the Heathrow Express, and it gets you directly into Paddington Station in 20 minutes. Yeah. So we tend to say to our guests, if you get in to Heathrow, get into London, maybe stay in that Paddington area,
Yep.
And then Paddington is a great place to go out if you're then going
Yeah.
out from London after a couple of days. So we tend to say, come to London, do 2-3 days or whatever you need to do in London, and then get out into the countryside.
Yeah. So you've talked in the past about Cotswolds and the Lake District being ideal for family holidays. Why is that?
I think that the Cotswolds, to start with, the Cotswolds is what I call chocolate box England. And there are some amazing places in and around the Cotswolds which you can visit with the family. So Oxford, Bath, Stonehenge. There's a place called Avebury, which is a bit like Stonehenge but better, and nobody goes there. It's a village completely surrounded by these huge, great big Stonehenge-like stones. So they go on for about a mile all the way around.
Yep.
And if you're going there with kids, you can go up and touch the stones and all sorts of other stuff. It's much more
because Stonehenge
public.
You can't touch Stonehenge, can you?
You can't get close. You can't get close.
Yeah.
So there's loads to do for adults and kids. The Lake District is great for walking, but obviously with kids, they need to be able to walk. Mum and dad, etc., or extended family need to be able to walk a reasonable distance to get up high in the Lake District.
Yeah.
You know, I've done it with my kids back in the day, and by the time they're 7 or 8, all they want to do is get to the top of the mountains. You know, you have your lunch on top of the mountain, you come back down, you go and have a pint in a pub, and the kids love that sort of stuff. I would also add in Devon and Cornwall down the west of the country, because that's where, I mentioned swimming earlier, that's where there's so many water sports that the kids can get involved in. You know, the water is not as warm as it is in Sydney.
I was going to say, how cold are we talking?
Or northern Queensland. But, you know, it's 17, 18 degrees centigrade in the summer, which is fine for a dip, fine for a swim without a wetsuit. And so the summer months are great for that. There's, you know, surfing, there's coast steering, there's just messing about in the water. There's, you know, the bucket and spade on the beach. There's Cornish cream teas or Devon cream teas. There's ice creams. There's great pubs to go to for mum and dad. Devon and Cornwall is a really cool place to go to with kids, and it's only 2-3 hours from London. And the best way, I always think, with a family to get around is by train.
Oh, yes.
The train, you know, because they're cheap tickets for the kids. Jump on the train. There's no hassle with driving. You can look out the window. You can keep the kids occupied. And it's just a much more relaxing, rewarding way to travel than either going by coach or hiring a car or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can get really good deals especially for the kids. So you know, my advice would be, wherever possible, travel by train. Even if you're going up to Edinburgh or Scotland, you know, London to Edinburgh by train is 4 hours 30, something like that, and you get straight into the middle of Edinburgh. It's by far the quickest way to get to Scotland, and it's great to look out the window and see what's going on.
Do you have tours through Scotland as well?
Yes, we cover the whole of the UK. Although our name is Active England, we do a huge amount of Scotland. We're actually building a new brand to incorporate Scotland.
Oh,
into
excellent! Yeah. So families with toddlers have different needs than those traveling with teenagers. How do you tailor your tours for the different age groups?
What we do, it's really important that what we do is we set expectations with the parents. We want to make sure that the parents are aligned on what can work. And whilst we're not a babysitting service, we want to make sure that mum and dad are getting some time off as well. Yeah. So on our trips, we'll always have fully qualified guides who are qualified to deal with kids of all ages. It's crucial that we have all those right qualifications. They're qualified to drive the vehicles that we use, and to make sure that we are looking after our guests, be they 2 or 102. You know, it's crucial that everybody gets their holiday. So we encourage parents, if they want to go off and do some stuff on their own or do stuff differently, we'll help them do that. You know, so we'll babysit for the kids if they want to go out for dinner.
Yes.
We'll take mum or dad out for a bike ride or for a swim or for a walk or for a run or whatever they want to do, because it's important that the parents get a break as well. But obviously the focus is going to be a lot on the kids, especially if they're toddlers, etc. So I think backpacks are great. If we can get the kids in the backpack, that means you can integrate more active pursuits during the day. I mean, obviously you're not going to ride a bike with a kid on the back, but there are tag-along bikes that you can use off-road, etc. And so it's really making sure that mum and dad get a break as well as looking after the kids. It's making sure that we set expectations about what's possible and what's not possible, and making sure that we shorten the days in terms of activity, because obviously the kids are going to need to sleep, they need to eat, and yada yada yada, get back early, etc., etc. So we just have to be very sensitive to the needs of both the parents and the kids.
Yeah. So what about multi-generational travel? Do you see a lot of grandparents and then parents and then grandchildren traveling together? And then how do you balance that with the additional accessibility needs?
Normally, I say normally, the multi-gen families tend to be pretty fit and active.
Pretty active,
So there aren't really that many access issues. We just have to bear in mind that if people have mobility issues, that they cater for in the hotels and the activities that we do. That's no problem at all. I think the one thing that's really important to me for multi-generational families is to ensure that everybody knows what they're getting themselves into. So we always encourage calls with the group in advance to make sure that the mum or dad, the sons and daughters, they know exactly what's being planned. Because occasionally we've had situations whereby the lead booker has booked the trip but hasn't necessarily informed everybody about what's being planned. And so it's a holiday for all the family, not just the lead booker. So we always say that we pretty much have to have a call to elicit what's going to make a magical trip for all members of the family. And then we have additional calls to meet their guides in advance of them traveling, so they get comfortable with the guides. They understand that the guides are going to look after everybody in the group. But no, more communication the better. More understanding of what's going to make a really magical holiday is really important to us.
So with some of your bike tours, I'm assuming that's quite hilly. You have e-bikes as well.
Yeah, we have e-bikes. E-bikes are great, and they certainly level up the playing field. We don't let kids under 16 on e-bikes for fairly obvious reasons. But e-bikes are a huge benefit to what we do. It depends where you go. It's not as hilly as people think, to be honest. We like to say that a lot of the UK is what we call gently rolling, so it's up and down.
Yes.
So you go up, you go, and then you go down. You go up, and you go down. And e-bikes, as I said, certainly levels the playing field. But we have 500-600 bikes here, vehicles, trailers, everything that we need to make sure that we can cater for what people like or want to do across the whole of the UK.
So there's a growing interest in slow and sustainable travel. Does Active England build that into its experiences?
Yeah, 100%. I think inherently what we do is pretty green, to be honest, because we're getting people out of tour buses. We're traveling where we can by train or in our electric vehicles. We are making sure that people are biking and walking and doing everything that they can outdoors wherever possible. So inherently, we're pretty green. We try and work with hotel groups who do farm to fork, 20-mile menus, that sort of thing. That's becoming increasingly important. So I think at every step we're trying to be green, and inherently active travel is pretty green.
It is, yes. So how do you support local communities or help reduce the over-tourism in the peak kind of destinations?
Yes, we tend to advise there are many issues in relation to this. There's dates to start with. So there are certain times of year when we advise people not to travel to certain areas. And basically it's the 6 weeks in the summer. So it's from late August, late July, sorry, all the way through August, whereby the Brits are generally on holiday. And a lot of them go down to Devon and Cornwall. So we tend not to do so much in Devon and Cornwall in that late July, August period.
Yeah.
The rest of it, to be honest, is fair game. I think you can travel at any time to pretty much any place. The one other place I wouldn't go to, unless you're going to the Edinburgh Fringe, is August in Edinburgh with the Edinburgh Fringe and the Edinburgh Festival. Unless you've got tickets, you're going to pay through the roof. In terms of over tourism, we tend to try and avoid the crowds, so we don't spend that much time in London. We try to get out of London wherever possible.
Yeah.
We recognise people will want to go to London, but we think let's get people out of London. That's the first point. The second point is travelling and doing activities at different times of the day. You've seen by that video that we do a lot of early morning, late afternoon stuff, because we want to avoid the crowds when people are busy milling around at certain places. And then obviously we try to go to places which are off the beaten track. Now everybody says that, but we live here, we live and breathe the UK. We know where to go. We know what's interesting to our guests. And what we tend to find when people come to the UK, they kind of know what they're going to get from Stonehenge. You know what Stonehenge looks like. You kind of know what you can get from Oxford or Bath or Stratford. But what people possibly underestimate is the sights, the smells, the countryside, the atmosphere about being in rural England, which is completely different from any other country in the world. It's the weird and wonderful people you meet in the cafes and the pubs. It's the whole kind of package, which is bigger than the places that you see. So getting off the beaten track, seeing different things, that's the recipe for success.
Absolutely. So what's your personal favourite region in England that families often overlook?
I would say Northumberland. We don't get many Aussies or North Americans travelling to Northumberland. So it is on the northeast coast of England. It's right up by Hadrian's Wall. There are some of the best castles in the UK there. Really easy to get to. Newcastle is kind of the hub of the region, and it's a superb city with the friendliest people in the UK. It's just really, really underrated. But go there quick because it's starting to get found.
Oh, people are noticing.
Maybe
I won't mention it. So last question. If a family had, say, 2 weeks in England, what would you personally recommend?
I'm going to assume that they're an active family.
Yes.
Is that okay? So I would say fly into London, spend a couple of days in London. I would then head out and I would do an either or to the Cotswolds or Devon and Cornwall, and then shoot up north to the Lake District, maybe in Northumberland, and then into Scotland. And spend probably 2 or 3 days in 3 or 4 different locations. That's how I would.
So what are we looking at for travel time between those destinations?
Yeah, so good question. So London out to Devon and Cornwall is it's 3 hours. 3 hours to Devon, 4 hours to Cornwall. The Cotswolds is an hour and a half from London.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not far at all. So you head through Oxford. Oxford is an hour from London, and the Cotswolds is half an hour the other side. And then London to Edinburgh on the train is only 4.5 hours.
Oh, so you're not going to lose like a whole day traveling.
So you can do a whole lot of activity in London in the morning, get the train in the afternoon, and then you're in Edinburgh for dinner. The traveling distances aren't as bad as people think, but I highly recommend the train because it gets you in and out of the centre of these places really quickly and really easily.
You normally get the good scenery too, don't you?
And you get the good scenery. Yeah, there are certain trips where you need to sit on the left or the right-hand side because the scenery is better, but we advise our guests as to what to do there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Will. I really do appreciate it. I know it's probably a bit of an early morning for you to be.
Oh, no, we're up early. We're up early here.
Yeah.
No problem. And Jessie, and thank you so much for, it's been really nice chatting to you.
If today's chat has inspired you to try a more active holiday with your family, here are a couple of quick tips to make it smoother with kids and a lot more fun. Tip 1, the Mini Explorer tip. If you're out and about with young kids, give each child a responsibility during your adventure. One can be the map reader, another the snack captain, or even the wildlife spotter. This has worked well for me when my kids were younger, and by turning it into a game, it's helped keep them engaged and also, more importantly, gave them something to do other than annoying each other. Tip 2, the Pack Smart Walk Far tip. If you're planning a walking or cycling holiday, they can absolutely be their own pack mule. Get them to pack a small day pack each with their own water, snacks, and a light jacket. I've found that letting the kids pack their own bag and letting them choose their snacks teaches independence and also lightens your load. So that wraps up our chat about active family adventures. I'm sure there are many other great experiences out there to be had, and we'd love to hear some of yours. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope it's inspired you to lace up your walking shoes and explore the great outdoors together as a family. For more tips and detailed guides, head on over to familyholidaydestinations.com, where you'll find destination ideas, travel deals, and inspiration for your next trip. And until next time, happy travels and enjoy making those family memories.